and obviously a brilliant run of form. Sort of like since second half of the season, certainly they've been excellent since the manager's come in. So they're a good side. They play on the front foot generally. Be interested to see how they approach the game, if they try and play their normal style, or if they accept that they're not going to have as much of the ball against the Man City team and play a bit deeper. So how they approach it will be quite interesting. Obviously very much still going for promotion as well. So yeah, just how they approach the game is going to be very interesting for me and Key.
As for Southampton, they've made 6 changes themselves. However, they did opt to rotate in their midweek draw against Bristol City. They start with Peretz in goal, back 4 of Bree, the former City defender, Harwood, Bellis, Wood and Wellington. Bragg and Yanda make up a midfield 2 with Fellows, Azaz and Cienza behind the striker Stewart. The ball is on the centre spot. The referee this evening is Craig Pawson, dressed in all black. The third Manchester City game he's taken charge of this season. The previous 2 saw City win 5-4 at Fulham and 2-1 at Anfield. So hopefully some more drama here at Wembley. We're underway. City playing from left to right from our vantage point here, tucked at the back of the stand along the near side of the pitch where both dugouts are situated. Nunez has the early possession for City, just carries it up the right touchline before retreating back to John Stones. And again, we spoke about Southampton before and how they may approach us, Kit Simons. Do you expect a similar performance to how they went at Arsenal aggressively, or will they show City a little bit of respect here at Wembley?
Well, just right from the offset now, they're doing more of a mid-block certainly than a high press at the moment. So they're dropping off into shape at this moment in time. Whether that changes, whether they're just settling into the game for the first 5 or 10 minutes, not sure. We shall see with that. But you would expect they've had success against. They beat Fulham, they've beaten Arsenal, so you would expect them to fancy their chances and to have a proper go against City and try and ask a few questions.
City come forward. Nunez with his head keeps it in play tight to the touchline on the right, flicks it towards the penalty area, but it's volleyed clear by Cienza. Stewart wins it for Southampton on halfway, and the Saints up to advance down the left hand side. Here's Cienza again, tight to the touchline, 1 to beat, waits for reinforcements to arrive, just brings it back onto that right boot of his, looks to curl it into the penalty area, but it's just over the head of Fellows. It's going to run all the way out for a goal kick to Manchester City. But again, Leo Cienza, he's a danger man for Southampton, and he's showed that turn of pace on the halfway line there. Yeah,
straight away you see him on this left hand side. He's very pacey but loves to cut inside on that right foot. I remember him hitting the bar in the Arsenal game, cut inside and brilliant right foot shot, clipping the top of the bar. So he's a real threat, a real danger. I think he's the most fouled player in the Championship this season. So he's very aggressive in his style of play, running with the ball, getting at defenders, looking to draw fouls and just looking to cause City as many problems as possible.
This is the 5th meeting in the FA Cup between these two sides. The previous 4, City have won 3, Southampton winning the other 1. The last came in 2022 where City were 4-1 winners. Foden in possession, carries it back towards halfway, just drops it off towards Shirky, who puts his right foot on the ball, returns it to Foden, who switches it out to the left-hand side. City's 47 Phil Foden may be out there this afternoon with somewhat of a point to prove as he tries to force his way back into Pep Guardiola's thinking as we go into the final running of the season. Reiniers has it on the right. Again, Southampton with everybody back behind the ball defensively as their fans make their voices heard once again. But here's Reiniers, finds Stones back in the side, switched it across towards the left of the City attack. It nearly tight to the touchline. He's got 1 to beat. Just stands Fellows up before slowly making his way towards the penalty area. Comes back in field once more. Edge of the box. Foden's first touch is a good one to turn it into the path of Reiniers. From left to right, City move it. Matches once more. On the right-hand side, looks for the give and go with Shirky. However, the Frenchman says no. Keeps hold of the ball himself. Jinks right, then left again before finding Nathan Ake. City with the early pressure here. 3 minutes played, 0-0, BBC Radio Manchester. City on the left. Crossfield it comes to Stones again, who's halfway inside the Southampton of the field here as he finds Matches Nunez once again. Right hand side, just takes it towards the edge of the penalty area. Southampton just keeping their defensive shape nicely in the early stages of this one. Matches still has it, just dropped it off to Reiniers before it was returned to his full-back. He's seen the majority of the ball here for Manchester City in the early stages, one of only 3 survivors from the side who won 1-0 at Burnley in midweek to take City to the top of the Premier League. But here's Matches once again, right-footed ball in towards the penalty area, just deflects off the back of Wellington. It will be a throw-in to the side in sky blue. Bright start from Manchester City, 0-0.
Yeah, and certainly Southampton are very, very deep here. I mean, Ross Stewart, their centre forward, is one cut of grass outside their own penalty box. So that's everybody back, like I say, 6-7 yards outside the penalty box. So they're certainly looking to drop deep and try and pack the area in front of City.
Ball in behind, flag stays down, Mamouche on the right, cuts it back, chance for Reiners, off the post, in towards the 6-yard area again. It's a real scramble, it's hacked off the line before the offside flag does go up. It may not have counted anyway. Southampton at 6s and 7s at the back there, just about survive that latest flurry of Manchester City attack, and somehow it remains 0-0.
Yeah, I was just saying how deep Southampton were, and it's all very well and good unless City can score. I mean, it initially, I think, hit the post, but I think it was clearly offside. The assistants kept the flag down as they do, because it was a fairly tight one. But it wouldn't have counted in the end anyway. But City showing how dangerous they can be. If you get in that low block, even then they have runners and people able to find space where there isn't any almost. So it's it's a dangerous game from Southampton, and one certainly if City score first, and they've got completely changed their game plan.
Long ball forward from Southampton as they look to create a chance of their own. They have the possession on the right touchline. Foden back helping out defensively and just forces it up towards halfway as Daniel Peretz, the Southampton goalkeeper, just issues a few instructions as a couple of yellow balloons drop down from the middle tier at Wembley. The Southampton fans really trying to make it a spectacle here this afternoon. James Trafford in possession inside his own 6-yard area, just waits for Stewart to press before turning it out towards the left where Ake has it. Pep Guardiola looking very animated as ever on the touchline. Looks a little bit frustrated as well in his black jumper and beige chino shorts. Always looks as though he's trying to become a fashion icon, as he just issues some more instructions to his side as Shirky picks up the possession inside his own half of the field. Turns it back once again before City go down the left-hand side. They've got a bit of space to work with as well. Aitner is in an advanced position up the left-hand side, but instead Shirky is the man who collects the possession. Back up towards the left again. Aitner this time does have the ball, turns it back in field. Shirky has options either side. He's got Matches in support on the right, however a challenge comes in. It was a good one there from Stewart. Can't quite turn it into the path of Azaz, who was lurking on the halfway line. Stones collects and turns it back out towards the right-hand side, where everything good that Manchester City have done so far in this one has come from. 7 minutes almost on the clock. 0-0. Reiners on the right. Whips the ball in. Again, Wellington is there for Southampton. Takes the deflection off the yellow jersey of his, corner kick to Manchester City.
Yeah, just a couple of times there. Southampton have pressed a little bit higher, but City have just cut through them. They literally bypassed the front three who have pressed a little bit. They're a little bit disjointed when they do try and press higher, so maybe it's a better option for them to be that little bit deeper and more compact, because I say City with their rotation, and they've got so many players who find pockets of space that if Southampton do go too high with their front three, City will just play through it.
Phil Foden whips the corner in, left-footed in, swinging towards the far side of the penalty area. Ake was there. Nico Gonzalez in the end gets his right boot on it to turn it out towards the left side of the penalty area, where Ake does really well to shrug off one challenge and just feeds it back towards Reiners once again as it's switched across towards the right-hand side of the City attack. Stones from centre-back finds himself on the corner of the penalty area. Right-hand side, just turns it back towards Shirky, who jinks left, then goes back right, finds Foden tight to the touchline. Wellington to beat, back on his left foot, far too easily dispossessed, and now can Southampton counter-attack up towards the halfway line. Yander has it, looks to find Cienza, asking a lot from him, but manages to keep it in play. Tight to the touchline, one to beat, looks for the 1-2 as it was turned back to him. Foden there to collect, but Southampton win the possession back with Wellington on the left. And again, you can see it's quite clear that they're looking to counter-attack here, and it's all going to come down that left-hand side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it came from Foden, tried to cut inside, but he just sort of telegraphed it a little bit, really. Yander read it and then shrugged him off and broke away with the ball. So needs to be a little bit careful, City. I mean, dominated the possession so far, not quite dangerous. But to be fair to Phil Foden, he was the one who got caught, gave the ball away. He then also got back, worked hard defensively and was the one to win it back.
Howard Bellis, a former City man, plays the ball up towards the halfway line. Not the best pass. Mamouche can collect for the Sky Blues. They have the possession back with Ake left of the centre circle. City playing from left to right in this first 45 minutes, so away from the travelling Sky Blues fans to our left. Nico has it. Options either side. He has the ball central before just feeding it 5 yards or so further forward towards Reiners, who looks to take control of things. Finds Matches, who in turn plays it to Stones again, just right of the centre circle. 9 minutes played, 0-0 the score between City and Southampton on BBC Radio Manchester. FA Cup semi-final. As Neri collects a possession tight to the touchline on the left-hand side. Jinks in field, looks for the give and go with Foden, can't get the return ball. Southampton come up with the possession, turn it out towards right-hand side where Bree has it. Right-footed, just knocks it up towards halfway where Ake can win the header again. However, can't find a sky blue shirt, and here come the Saints once again over the halfway line. City scramble to get back up the right-hand side. Reinforcements inside the penalty area, edge of the box. Man goes down. Craig Paulson had a good look of it. Yander got to the ball first, turns it out for a goal kick in the end to Manchester City. I think he went down more in hope than expectation of a penalty there. Decision goes City's way, remains 0-0.
Yeah, good refereeing from Craig Pawson. He's having absolutely none of that. He could see that the challenge had been pulled out of, if you like, so it went down very easily.
Here comes City, in behind again, one of them with the goalkeeper. Here's Marmoush, can he find the finish? Deflects. Offside flag goes up once more. That's the second time that's happened. Marmoush playing on the shoulder, got him behind, 1-on-1 this time, fired the shot at goal, parried around the post, then the flag went up, and then Southampton were given the free kick. And the Saints players weren't too happy with the time it took for the assistant.
For the second time, Harwood Bellis has gone absolutely mad at Craig Pawson. But on both occasions, the play's been central, and the assistant referees will keep the flag if it's central and fairly tight. The assistant referees are told to keep the flag down, so he knows this. So I don't know why he's getting so animated and so upset about that. Just get on with the game. If you're confident it's offside, fine. No need to make such a big fuss about it.
Get Simons alongside myself, Josh Watson on BBC Radio Manchester. FA Cup semi-final weekend. It's currently Manchester City 0, Southampton 0. They are 3 minutes away from kick-off. Just a stone's throw from here at the Emirates, where Arsenal take on Newcastle United in the Premier League, as and Manchester City look set to battle it out all the way for the title. But this weekend, City's focus is on the oldest competition in football. And here comes Southampton. Cienza, left-hand side of the penalty area. Can he beat Trafford? Yes, he can! Cienza gives Southampton the lead early on. So he fought. Left-hand side, found himself 1-on-1. But again, a delayed flag denies him. And Southampton celebrations are cut short. The Southampton fans took a while to realise that the scoreline will remain at Wembley 0-0.
Yeah, City have got away with one a little bit there. It was definitely offside. It wasn't even close, particularly in the end, but it was a little bit lucky, fortuitous for City. So it's a bit of a warning shot. I think City have started the game very brightly, but it's a warning shot. Southampton have got good players who can cause problems.
City looking to create an attack of their own. Ball down the left-hand side. Neri gave chase, couldn't get there. Turned back up towards halfway. Just seeing us still on the screen in front of me here at Wembley, and Cienza was a yard or so offside there, as Manchester City have the possession again in the Saints half of the field. 0-0 the score. A scratch of the chin from the Saints boss Tondereka there as he saw the replay, but his side have come close in the opening 12 minutes of this one. As Manchester City, an effort scrambled off the line before the offside flag would have denied that goal as well. So 0-0 the score in this FA Cup semi-final. City in the possession on the halfway line with Ake, just left of the centre circle. Just takes his time on the ball, carries it a couple of yards further forward, has options either side, but just rolls it across towards Stones in the right centre-back position. He's got Matches Nunes tight to the touchline. In towards Reiners, looks for the 1-2 with Shirky, but instead it goes back towards Stones again. This time he clips a diagonal out towards the left, but Stewart is there to intercept for Southampton, heads it up and into the path of Cienza again. He looks to break up towards the halfway line, bundled to ground, free kick goes away of Southampton. They take it quickly out towards Bree on the right, cuts back infield, the former Aston Villa man, before it's switched out towards the left-hand side of the Southampton defence. You just feel as though that goal that was disallowed for Southampton has given one half of Wembley real lift.
Absolutely, and like I say, they showed that they can create problems, and like I said, City a little bit fortunate that it was offside, but they're certainly a threat, and they showed. I mean, City shape's quite interesting how they set up, because it's very much the width is coming from the two fullbacks, and you're playing with Cherki and Foden as 2 10s in behind Marmoush, and it's very congested, and there's not really a lot of space at the moment, so that at the minute has not sort of worked, a very narrow front three, but City will be hoping, I mean, like I said, if you get Cherki, if you can get Foden on the board in those little pockets of space, if they can find them, they can be very dangerous, but at the moment that's not quite clicked yet.
City win the possession back inside the centre half of the field with Matches, right of the attack, just plays it infield towards Nico. Reiner's in support, finds him. City just looking to keep hold of the possession for a moment or so longer before launching this next wave of attack on the Southampton goal. On the left they have it again. In towards Marmoush it comes, who's come a little bit deeper to get himself involved here. Turns it out towards Matches. Not too many options in sky blue further forward for him, so just has to cut it infield towards Nico, who goes to ground under the challenge of Stevens. Referee Craig Paulson waves the advantage. City still in the possession with Nico, who feeds it through the gap towards Matches on the right once more. Right-footed ball in towards the centre of the penalty area. Flicked clear this time by Wood, but lands on the left. Neri looks to weave his way through, just beaten to it by Bree, before Howard Bellis can right-footed clip it up towards the halfway line, where Ake looks to attempt to retain the possession for Manchester City. Foden gives chase, can't get on to the end of it. A real scrap on the edge of the area, falls for City, left-hand side, options in the middle, across it comes. Again, just the outstretched leg of Howard Bellis there to turn it clear for Southampton. City just having a little bit more looking behind now, though.
Yeah, that was good play from Kovacic there to try and set up the opportunity. Broke forward. He's generally been sitting the deeper one alongside Nico Gonzalez, but he made a really good break forward, was unmarked, won the ball back, crossed with his left, well, cut back inside on his right foot and tried to cut it back, but he's just slightly behind Foden, I think. But a good play from Kovacic and a little bit unlucky, a bit better from City.
16 and a half minutes gone, 0-0. BBC Radio Manchester between Manchester City and Southampton, as the Saints look to knock a long ball over the top, but nobody in yellow there anticipating it. Just allows Matches to collect, and he carries it all the way up towards the halfway line unchallenged. He's around 10 yards or so infield from the touchline, where Pep Guardiola again just issues a few more instructions to his side. James Trafford in a luminous pink this afternoon now has a possession on the edge of his own penalty area. Rolls it out towards Nathan Ake on the left, who looks to go long. Marmoush in behind again. This time the flag will stay down. Left of the penalty area. Wood to beat. Brings it on his left foot. Now back on his right. Does he have support? He doesn't. Neri eventually comes to help him out, but the attack just sort of slows down for Manchester City. They're still in the possession up the left-hand side. Neri again looks for the 1-2 with Cherki. Brings it onto his right foot. Can he twist away from a couple of challenges? He can't do so. It's Southampton who have the possession back. Wellington on the left turns it back towards Wood, who has to be careful, who plays it back towards his goalkeeper Peretz. Left-footed first time, he manages to shift the ball up towards the halfway line, but Ross Stewart can't keep possession. City turn it back towards James Trafford. The Championship side showing that they're not afraid to play out from the back.
Really good run from Marmoush just a little bit earlier, Josh. He peeled off down the side of Howard Bellis and looked to get in behind into the space. There's a lot of space there. It was a good ball forward. The worrying thing a little bit, he looked, once he got onto it, it's a great run initially, and he's obviously quick, but he then looked a little bit rusty and was a bit slow and laboured in what he's going to do next when he got the ball. Again, not, you know, a player who needs a game time, I think, today, really. Omar Marmoush, an excellent player, but we need to see him get more game time and say get on the ball a bit more and be a little bit sharper than he was just then. So hopefully he's playing his way into the game.
Cherki feeds a ball in towards the penalty area. Reinders was there. Wellington, the left back for Southampton this afternoon, had to be alert. He was, just to wrap his left boot around the ball, turns it out for a throw-in to Pep Guardiola's side, just shy of the corner flag on the right. So another good opportunity here for the side in sky blue to attack. Matches with the ball in hand. Not too much in terms of movement happening for Manchester City. Eventually it comes in towards Marmoush, who manages to keep hold of the possession for a moment or so before eventually is collected by Cienzo. Just shows off his footwork by his own corner flag there, but his side can't keep hold of the ball. Cherki once again makes a dart for the corner flag. Wellington back defending, forces Shirky to go back towards Stones, who again's almost playing in a right back position there as his side come forward. Edge of the penalty area. Here come Manchester City into the box. There's a shot across goal. It was Kovacic who wound his way through on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Cross comes shot, flashed across the 6-yard area, much to Daniel Peretz's relief. Goes out for a goal kick by the corner flag on the right-hand side, remains 0-0.
Yeah, certainly at the moment, he's probably been the biggest attacking threat for Man City. Kovacic breaking from deep. On that occasion, he came from very, very deep, running with the ball as he loves to do. Looked like he got a bit of a shove in the back, which gave him extra momentum, took him past the Southampton player, gets into the box, but just pulls his shot a little bit across the right-hand post. But very, very bright play from him. Like I said, there's a couple of really good forages forward and looks very dangerous at the moment.
This is only the second game that Mateo Kovacic has played in since October. Made his return against Chelsea last weekend before returning to the starting lineup for this semi-final. Southampton come forward again. Ake has to be alert on the edge of his penalty area. He is, just gets his head on it. Can't head it in any real direction, and City are forced to concede a throw-in on the far side. In line with the 18-yard box, Bree takes it quickly, goes back towards Howard Bellis on the halfway line. Out towards the left it goes with Wood. Has support from Yanda, who does well just to flick it round the corner. Eventually it finds itself at the feet of Wellington, the Brazilian, up the left-hand side. Finds his fellow countryman Cienza, who's already put the ball in the back of the net in this one, only for it to be ruled out by the offside flag. This time doesn't go for goal, just rolls it infield towards Bragg, who plays a 1-2 with Wood. Now it's Southampton's turn to be patient and slowly press and probe and try break this Manchester City side down. Edge of the area it goes. The ball in the end just finds itself at the feet of James Trafford. Far too much on it, as has put him under some pressure, and forced Trafford just to clip it up towards the halfway line. The ball down the right hand side from Howard Bellis wasn't the best one, didn't quite have the angle. City will have a throw in inside their own half of the field. That's the first time that Southampton have really had the opportunity to put City under any real pressure, and it has to be said that Pep Guardiola's side did look quite comfortable in dealing with that attack.
Yeah, they did, but I think they've shown enough signs, Southampton, to make City aware that they are a threat going forward, and they certainly can cause problems. But City so far have been relatively comfortable, obviously, other than the goal ruled out for offside, really. But yeah, I think like I say, there's enough there, and you see they've got enough players who are good on the ball, have got good pace.
And here's one of them. Wellington plays it into Cienza on the left again. Options in the middle. Right-footed ball across the penalty area. Heads went up at the far post. So does the offside flag eventually. It's the fourth time it's happened in the opening 22 minutes of this one. But Manchester City will have a free kick inside their own penalty area, offside.
Yeah, and it's especially looking to get into the wide areas as well. Southampton is what they're looking to do. They are going to play deep today and concede a lot of the possession to Man City, is, you know, understandably. But when they do get forward, they look to break through the wide areas and then crosses to obviously the opposite post, where City are not always. They've had problems, you know, over sort of recent seasons, I think, defending the back post at times and on counter attack. So this will be Southampton's game plan, and at the moment, you know, they're doing okay.
0-0 the score. BBC Radio Manchester. That was a score last time these two sides met, when already relegated Southampton kept City to a point at St Mary's in the Premier League. That was back in May of last year. The City have the possession deep inside the Saints half of the field once more. Foden on the left. Aït-Nouri in support, tight to the touchline. Finds him. One to beat in the shape of Fellows. Fellows does well just to force Aït-Nouri to play the ball back towards Nico, who's sat in between the two centre-backs. Now Foden on the edge of the area. Gets a turn. Can they get the shot away? They can. It deflects. It's a real scramble inside the penalty area once more. In the end, Nathan Wood's left boot clears the ball upfield for Southampton, but it might be turning into one-way traffic. Trafford comes up towards the halfway line to collect for Manchester City. However, it's not the best return ball towards John Stones, who has to retreat 20 yards or so on the right-hand side to keep it in the field of play. That just gives Southampton the opportunity to press a little bit higher. You can see their defensive line is now up and almost over the halfway line. Trafford has the ball on the edge of his own 6-yard area, turns it out towards the left-hand side where Ake can carry forward. Trafford again. Inside his own 18-yard box, just assesses his options before eventually rolling it across the floor towards Matchis, tight to the right-hand touchline. He's under some pressure by Wellington, just settles in with the dummy. Wellington jumped and turned his back on it, and that gave Matchis the opportunity to clip it down the right-hand side. Mamouche, in the end, just sees the ball bundled out of play. But there has been a goal in the Premier League. Arsenal have taken the lead in the opening 10 minutes against Newcastle United. Ebere Eze giving the Gunners the lead in that one. So that result will see Arsenal move back to the top of the Premier League. 3 points clear of Manchester City. 1 goal difference better, having played 1 game more. Southampton have a free kick on this left-hand side. Wellington has a ball in hand. They've sent the units up from the back, have the Saints. And an opportunity again for them to test James Trafford's goal. 25 on the clock, 0-0 the score. Southampton free kick. Wellington left-footed, high towards the right of the penalty area, headed up without any direction on it from Howard Bellis. Well, this time it was Fellows who made a jinking move forward. Shirky stuck his left leg out, brings the Southampton winger to the ground, around 25 yards out from goal. And another opportunity here for Southampton to maybe try a shot from this one as well. They are starting to just apply a little bit more pressure. Yeah,
they're starting to a little bit sloppy, a bit lazy from Cherky there. The touch from Fellows was too big. It was getting away from him. And Cherky sort of stuck his leg out and left it there. And the Fellows chose to go over his leg to win the free kick. So I think probably, just about shooting distance, I think. But it'd be some strike to score from there. But we've seen it happen before. And it looks like they're interested. I mean, the Southampton players are setting up towards the back of the penalty area, as if it's coming in.
They are committing bodies forward as well, Southampton, as Cienza leaves it for Wellington to clip in towards the penalty area. City defend it well, out towards the left. Could be a chance here for Mamouche to break forward. Up the left-hand side, can't get past Fellows, though. He does really well to stick out his left boot, then kicks it against Mamouche, and wins a throw for Southampton. Their travelling supporters show their appreciation for that bit of defensive play to stop the City counter, but then to win the possession back for Southampton, who have it 10 yards or so shy from the halfway line. In the City half of the field, in the last few moments, they've had the better opportunity to create something in front of goal. 0-0 the score, BBC Radio Manchester. Southampton in the possession with Wood. In his own half of the field, Foster go all the way back towards Peretz, who puts his left foot on the ball. On loan from Bayern Munich, Daniel Peretz may have some work to do here as Reiniers applies the pressure on Wood, who calmly turns away from the challenge, plays it out towards the left, but City win it back with Stones. Infield to Kovacic, through the gap to Foden, around 10 yards or so further in front of him, couldn't quite bring it under control. Southampton come away with it again, up the left-hand side with Fellows. He's got it nearer to beat, opts not to attempt to take on the City full-back. Instead, jinks in field before turning it back towards Howard Bellis. So he puts his foot on the ball and just maybe looks to calm things down for a moment or so. But now Wellington has it, left of the centre circle. Cienza wants it tight to the touchline over his left shoulder. However, Southampton opt to move it up the right. Bree makes a run forward. Fellows plays it in towards Bree, right at the penalty area, cuts it back across. Stones is there, turns it away. Kovacic does well to get back and just tries to shepherd it out towards the left-hand side, plays it away but can't get the angle right. Throw-in will go the way of Southampton. And they're really starting to turn the screw here, the Championship side. Yeah, they are. Kovacic ended up doing really well for me defensively there. The ball came in. John Stones was sort of almost forced to rush his clearance a little bit, but then Kovacic got his body between the ball and the Southampton player who was coming forward, so very good from him there. So. But they are certainly, as you say, just they are looking dangerous, Southampton, certainly growing in confidence, growing into the game. Yander wins it back for Southampton once again. Finds Wood, his centre-back, left of the centre circle before Cienza takes control of things. The tricky Brazilian winger. Jinks in field once more, gets past one, looks to feed it in behind, but Ake is there. Really good read from the City centre-half to win back the possession, but his pass in towards the path of Shirky isn't the best, and this is turning into quite the defensive effort from Manchester City. Ain't Neri gives away a free kick on the right of the Southampton attack, and again, another opportunity here for him to get the ball in towards a melting pot.
Yeah, we're talking earlier. Kovacic has probably looked the best attacking player for City at the moment, the most dangerous. Cienza for Southampton, certainly, he's been at the heart of everything. And actually, that last one, he was bright going forward and then won the ball back as well with a really good tackle. So he's having an excellent game for Southampton so far and looking very dangerous.
Bree stands over it. He spent the first half of the season on loan at Charlton before returning to Southampton, where he's nailed down a place in the right back position. He's now got the task of whipping this latest Southampton free kick into the penalty area. He does so as well, lands on the edge of the 6-yard area, no one in yellow to connect. Wellington gets on it in the end, turns it back goalwards, but it deflects. It will be a goal kick to Manchester City. Pretty sure that would have been an offside anyway, but James Trafford puts the ball down on the edge of his 6-yard area, and City can start again from the back. Will Pep Guardiola be overly concerned about what he's seen in this last 5 minutes or so?
I don't think overly concerned, but he's a perfectionist, so unless it's perfect, he's never happy. But it's probably as expected. Southampton are a good side and cause teams problems. They play front foot and are a real threat going forward with some quality attacking players. So they're going to have spells in the game where they create chances and look dangerous. So it's all about how City deal with those spells. So far so good, but I think what he'll be more concerned about is it's not clicked going forward as of yet. Certainly Marmoush looks a little bit rusty. He's getting a bit frustrated with himself as well. He's made a couple of mistakes, got caught on the ball and been a bit late in some of his movements. So that'll be more of a concern, I think, than the defensive side of things at the moment.
City trying to make something work in attack against a side who are unbeaten in 20 games in all competitions. Quite the incredible run they've been on since Tonde Ecker took charge. Sees them sit in the Championship playoffs. But City come forward with matches once again. Wellington to beat. Just shimmies towards the edge of the penalty area from the right. Forced to play it back towards Reinders. Yander stretches out his right boot just to flick it into the path of Nico, forces him to turn around and collect him. Just again slows the City attack down. This time it's Wood who beats Ford into the possession, but the City 47 can collect at the second attempt and turn it back out towards Matches on the touchline. Now Stones right of the centre circle. He's got everyone in sky blue in front of him, barring Nico Gonzalez, who is the player he eventually finds. Now Kovacic on the left of that midfield too. Dribbles down centre field before turning it out towards the right where Reinders can collect. He tries to feed it in behind for Marmoush, but he can't get onto the end of it. Southampton look to break forward. Referee Craig Pawson will pull play back. Free kick goes away of the Saints inside their own half of the field, and it remains 0-0 as we approach 32 minutes of this FA Cup semi-final. Southampton will surely be the happier of the two sides. Did put the ball in the back of the net, only for the offside flag to rule out Leo Cienza's what he thought was an opener. But now it's the Saints who have the free kick down centre field midway in their own half. Correct standing over the ball. Out towards Howard Bellis, only 5 yards or so to his right. Maybe not the best option there is City press and win the possession back. Aitneri on the left, again options in the middle. He opts not to try bend the ball in towards the 6-yard area and just keeps hold of the possession. That just affords Southampton the time to get bodies back behind the ball defensively. They look very good structurally out of possession. Southampton limited Manchester City to very few attempts on goal as the ball was clipped up the left hand side this time by Matches, looking for Shirky, who made his way out towards the touchline. Couldn't get on the end of it, but takes a throw back towards John Stones with the captain's armband on this afternoon. His previous two starts before this game both came in the FA Cup, plus his third start in succession in the competition. It's maybe his swan song at Manchester City, and he's looking to go out with 3 trophies to his name. Out towards the left-hand side, too much on it for Aitneri to get on the end of. Runs out for a Southampton throw-in. That may just sum Manchester City up going forward. It's been a little bit wasteful, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's not quite right. It's not quite clicking. The shape doesn't look quite right. There's no Reinders wants to make runs forward, but there's no space for him to run into because he's got Shirky and Foden in those spaces already. So it's not quite right. The fullbacks haven't really got forward of any quality as of yet. But I mean, there's options. There's plenty of options to change things as well. You can you've got orthodox wingers who can come on in the second half. Doku, obviously, who's been in excellent form and will get his fullback at every opportunity. So there's things that can change. And also, but you would expect a little bit more from this team that's on the pitch at the moment. So I think, like I say, Pep will be a little bit disappointed with that, and will maybe have some quite strong words at half-time, I would imagine. But yes, like I said, there's plenty of room for improvement at the moment.
City looking to improve now. Left-hand side, could be a chance. Mamouche hits it at the near post. Good save by Perret with his feet. Turns it behind. Corner kick to the side in sky blue. Mamouche in behind. Just couldn't find the angle. Wins his side of corner. Remains 0-0.
That was much better from Mamouche. He took his shot quickly, got it away. I say he looked a little bit rusty, but that was much better from him. That's what we expect from him.
Corner taken quickly. Left of the penalty area. City have the possession. Towards Foden. Edge of the box. Looks for the give and go. Turned out towards Nico instead. Now Stones. The right back position. Left-footed ball in towards the penalty area at the far post. Acrobatics on this occasion. However, it doesn't come off. It was optimistic at the best there from Tiani Reinders. And then it just bounces off his shin and out for a goal kick to Southampton. And another chance goes astray, 0-0.
Yeah, but just back to that chance from Mamouche a minute ago, Josh. Best chance of the game for City by a stretch. Ended up being a really good save from Perez in the Southampton goal. Stood up, strong save with his right foot. But I say much better from Mamouche. He got in down the side, the inside left channel, and got his shot away quickly. Left foot shot. Was on target, going in, but a good save from Perez. But much better from Man City, and especially Mamouche.
That effort from Mamouche was the first legitimate shot on target we've had in this one. We've seen both goalkeepers being asked questions, however, the offside flag would have ruled out any eventual goal, as Southampton did put the ball in the back of the net on one occasion, but it does remain 0-0 to 36 minutes of this FA Cup semi-final on BBC Radio Manchester. Here comes City again. Left-hand side, ball in towards Mamouche, who goes to ground under the challenge of Howard Bellis, but the Southampton defender, former England international as well, does just enough to turn it back up towards the halfway line. That is where Southampton are too keen to win possession back, give away the free kick taken quickly. Shirky has a possession. Out towards Aitneri on the left. Options in the middle again. Aitneri goes for the corner flag. He's got Fellows to beat. Just deflects off Fellows before he drags Aitneri to the ground, according to the City fullback. Referee Craig Paulson disagrees. Southampton come away with the possession with James Bree right of his own penalty area. Plays it back to Howard Bellis. He won't thank Bree for that ball. He clears it up towards halfway. Doesn't get the required power on it, but somehow Southampton win a throw-in. I think it was Kovacic who went to ground, just tried to wrap it out towards the left-hand side. The ball wildly deflects up towards the halfway line, and that's where Southampton will have a throw-in in this one. I suppose a blessing for Pep Guardiola is when you look at the plethora of talent he's got on his bench. That could be the difference in this one, because the attackers who are out there with maybe a point to prove aren't quite doing it so far.
No, not really, but I mean, we said Mamouche is maybe looking a little bit rusty. I mean, what's your option? Erling Haaland? So it's not bad, is it, really? So, yeah, but like I say, you were expecting a bit more from Mamouche. We know what a good player he is, and he's not showing, or he hasn't so far shown us what he can do and what we know he can do. So that last opportunity, much brighter, much better, much more like it. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come. But as you say, Josh, yeah, the bench is incredible.
Yeah, 6 goals this season for Omar Mamouche. 3 of them have come in the FA Cup, 2 against Newcastle in round 5 of the competition. He's come the closest for Manchester City to opening the scoring in this one, but to no avail. We're well into the final 8 minutes of this half, and it remains 0-0 at Wembley between Manchester City and Southampton. BBC Radio Manchester, your home of every Manchester City commentary throughout the season. Plenty of twists, turns and drama to come. Arsenal currently leading 1-0 against Newcastle United to give them the advantage again in the chase for the Premier League title. And now Southampton are looking to give themselves the advantage in the FA Cup semi-final. Cienza once again on the left-hand side, jinks in field, this time 2 in sky blue to beat, brings it on his right foot, looked as though he was going to shoot, instead finds Fellows on the right. Now Bree, right-footed ball in towards the 6-yard area. Ake is there, heads clear, back out towards the touchline. Southampton still in the possession with Harwood Bellis. Across towards Wood. City, everyone behind the ball defensively to try stop this latest wave of Southampton attack. Wellington's ball into the middle, only meets the head of John Stones. Just clips it out towards the right where Matches can win it back. However, Southampton, quick as a flash, looked to retain the possession, couldn't manage to do so. Fellows loses out, and here comes Mateo Kovacic across the halfway line up the left-hand side. He just waits for help to arrive in the shape of Ryan Aït-Nouri, feeds it into him as well. He's got two in sky blue on the edge of the penalty area in the shape of Foden and Marmoush. It's Foden who collects the ball with his back to goal, turns it once again towards Nico Gonzalez, studs on the ball, dead central of the field before he floats it out towards Shirky on this touchline. Wellington to beat. Shirky jinks in field. He's got options. Finds Reiners 5 yards to his left. Now Nico. Patient play from Manchester City. Kovacic's ball in towards the penalty area. Shirky tried to get there and keep it in play as it slowly bounced over the byline, but it was just a little bit too late, and it will be a goal kick to Southampton. And again, it's just not clicking for Manchester City. It remains 0-0, 5 minutes to go until half-time.
It's just always it's a little bit laboured. I mean, that last break there, Kovacic breaks really quickly. He does really well. Nicks the ball, breaks. Aït-Nouri then comes to support him, but he comes a bit late. When you would think, like, just, you know, really be on your bike and show real intent and purpose. And you know, make it happen. But he's more like supporting rather than overlapping and being an option. But yeah, Nunez has just gone down here off the ball, so we're having a little break in play. I'm not sure, I didn't notice him do anything, but he's gone down and looks in a little bit of distress.
Yeah, always a concern when a player goes down without anybody around him. The physios are on as he just lays down on the halfway line. Both sets of players make their way across towards the dugout to take on some refreshment and advice from the coaching staff and managers alike. Fingers crossed that Matthijs Nunes is okay. He's been hit with a number of injuries across the season. It looks as though his afternoon may be over as Abdulkadir Kusanov sets off on his way up the touchline to complete his warm-ups. Pep Guardiola forcing to making an early substitution here in the first half at Wembley Stadium. And he's almost been behind everything good that Manchester City have done in attack.
Yeah, no, he has. He's been quite bright, and so it'll be a real shame for him because he's a player who's really sort of grown, I think, this season and sort of filled that role. Not a natural right back initially. We know that he got sort of almost pushed into that position, but has learnt the position and has really improved and done really well. So yeah, he doesn't look comfortable at all. I'm not quite sure what the problem is, but there's a bit of concern there with the City physios with him, I think.
He's back on his 2 feet and is able to walk towards the touchline, but it is going to be Kusanov who's stripped and ready to enter the field for the final 3 minutes of this first half. 0-0 the score on BBC Radio Manchester. Bill Rice will take you through half-time. Big results earlier today. Rochdale missed out on promotion back to the EFL after a late equaliser from York City secured their place at the top of the table. Stockport County only need one more point to secure a playoff place after a 3-1 win at lunchtime over Peterborough United. Bolton Wanderers are in the League One playoffs after they picked up a point against Bradford City. Reaction to all those games to come throughout the afternoon here on BBC Radio Manchester here at Wembley. It is Manchester City 0, Southampton 0, with 2 minutes to go until the break. Back underway, thanks to Peretz, the Southampton goalkeeper. City momentarily down to 10 after Matthijs Nunes was forced to leave the field of play. Well, Abdulkadir Kusanov was ready to come on. It looks as though Matthijs is going to attempt to see at least the half out. Kusanov still going through some warm-ups on the touchline in a bright orange vest now, which would indicate he's part of the subs. And Matches returns to the action. Keep a close eye on him, but Manchester City are in the possession. On the left of the centre circle, again, Southampton almost just forming a wall across the halfway line to prevent City playing through any sort of gaps, and they are forced to switch it right to left and back again as Nico takes over the possession. He's got Shirky to his right. It's Kovacic who plays it out towards Ake on the left. Reiners offers some support to Aït-Nouri, and then City just forced to go back towards the halfway line again. Pressing, probing and being really patient here, Manchester City, as they look to find something in behind this stubborn Saints defence. They may have it here with Shirky up the right hand side. Foden across, collects, brings it back onto that left boot of his, tries to weave his way through, challenge comes in, it's a good one as Foden goes to ground, ball bounces back towards the goalkeeper. Peretz, who collects his, clutches a ball to his chest. Southampton have the possession back, and Foden's another one who's just not really got into the game, has he?
No, exactly the same. And they look rusty. They do look like they haven't played a lot of game time lately, which is the case. That's part of the reason why Pep's done it today. I think he knows, he thinks this team will have enough to win the game, but also knows these players are going to be needed for the running now.
This is Phil Foden's first start since that 2-2 draw with Nottingham Forest back in March. He just occupies a position on the right of the attacker. City have it on the left. There are the step overs from Shirky. Turns it to John Stones up from the centre back position. Phil Foden collects tight to the touchline, rolls it infield towards John Stones. He turns on the spot before rolling it back out towards the touchline. Matches collects. He doesn't look like he's moving all too freely, but does well just to carry it a couple of yards further infield to find Nico Gonzalez. Again, City just hoping for an inroad. We are into 2 minutes of additional time here at the end of the first half. Diagonal ball towards Shirky. Good first touch off the laces of the left boot. Back on his left foot. Can he force a shot? Tackle comes in from Wellington. It's a really good one. It's risky as he goes to ground. Shirky then just too keen to win back the position. Bundles Wellington to the floor. Free kick goes away to Southampton. That is very, very good defending from the left back, who's had a very good first half for Southampton.
Yeah, it was, but better from City. It's one of the few times like Shirky actually timed his run and looked to try, it's a diagonal ball, but looked to try and get him behind the back line a little bit, albeit in a wide area. But again, they need to mix the play up a little bit more, City, and that was a decent option. That ball in behind, I say, albeit on an angle, on a diagonal, is an option and something they need to look to try and do at times. But as you said, it was excellent defending from Wellington in the end, and he's had a very strong first half.
Southampton play the ball long down the centre of the field, and this may be the last action of the first 45 minutes as it runs out for a throw-in on the touchline. Craig Pawson is going to make Manchester City play it as Matches collects, has the ball above his head, finds John Stones, who turns it back towards James Trafford on his own goal line, more or less, as he brings it under control with the left boot of his, rolls it out towards Ake on the left of the two centre-backs. Looked as though he was going to try drive up towards the halfway line, thought better of it, cut back, plays it up towards the halfway line, and that will be that for the first 45 minutes here at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-final, and nothing to separate Manchester City and Southampton. It was a Championship side who've had the ball in the back of the net. Leo Cienza curling home, only for the offside flag to deny him at the other end of the field. No real clear-cut chances for Manchester City. Omar Mamouche coming the closest with his left-footed drive, saved at the near post by Daniel Peretz. And so it remains, after the first half here at Wembley, Manchester City 0, Southampton 0.
Yeah, 0-0 at half-time. I think it's safe to say the 8 changes that Pep Guardiola made hasn't really helped Manchester City in that first half.
No, and sort of understandably to an extent. The team prior had been relatively sort of settled and quite sort of cohesive, but it looked a little bit disjointed and people were a bit rusty, as I spoke about. Quite a few people looking to take the same areas, so obviously you got Foden and Shirky who look to take up the same little spaces. Reinders likes to run into space, but he found no spaces. He likes to run to being occupied already by the players, so it wasn't quite working. You look on paper and there's a lot of talent, a lot of ability, but the individuals are not playing at the top of their game, and like I say, looked a little bit rusty, if anything.
And Southampton will be relatively happy with how that half went, even though they haven't actually tested James Trafford in the City goal, but they felt like they were in the game and they felt like they could create chances, even though they haven't had a clear-cut one. Yeah,
very much. And they had a little spell of sort of like a 10-minute spell, probably, where they were, if anything, were maybe getting on top a little bit. But as you said, these are a good side. High on confidence because they're on a brilliant run in the Championship. So they're a good team. So they will have a little spell in the game, and it's down to City then to deal with that, which they did pretty well, to be fair. So like I say, that won't worry Pep, but it'd be more the attacking side of it not quite clicking, not looking quite right. But without doubt, like you say, Bill, they are a threat, Southampton, and if City don't sharpen up a little bit and get the first goal or get a goal quite early in the second half, Southampton, the longer it goes on, will look a threat and fancy their chances.
They did create probably the biggest chance of that half. I mean, it was offside and it was the correct decision by the officials, but Cienza broke through. He finished it well past Trafford, and obviously there was jubilation amongst the Southampton supporters until they saw the flag. I guess they've got to try and recreate that and find a moment like that again. For Manchester City, that was a bit of a warning sign of don't get caught like this, because they were just a little bit too open.
Well, it was. I think it was Nunes went for a header and ended up falling on the floor. So then suddenly he's out of the game, and they got him down the wide areas, down to their left-hand side, Southampton, and that's where City can look exposed on the counter-attack in the wide areas, especially. So that will give Southampton a bit of a lift and a bit of belief that they can cause problems for Manchester City. So, and City need to make sure that their rest defence, when they're attacking, when they're on the ball, that they're set up properly in case of this counter.
Kevin is a City fan who's tweeted out BBC RM Sport, says moving the ball at snail's pace with no high width means it's so easy to defend against. Be a long day playing like this. Do you think that will be the message from Pep Guardiola to the players at half-time, just to speed it up a little bit, get the passes a little bit quicker and a little bit slicker?
Definitely. I mean, it's been a bit laboured. Almost pedestrian at times with the pace that we've, and I say even just your thinking as much as the actual execution of the pass. I said there was that break from Kovacic, and Ain't Nori went, but he went late. Go, be really positive, be front foot. You've got to be proactive with your forward movements and catch Southampton by surprise, because they get back into shape very quick and they make a real solid defensive unit to break down.
But we shouldn't be surprised that players that don't play together week in, week out aren't perhaps at their absolute sharpest, and maybe Pep is seeing today as the opportunity to, some of these players might be needed between now and the end of the season. Take your opportunity today to play yourself towards sharpness.
Well, that's the exact thing we said. There's players that need game time, and they need game time because they've not been getting it lately. And if you've not been getting it, then you can look a little bit rusty, a little bit off the pace when you come in. It's understandable. So, but this is the challenge of still challenging in so many competitions. Like I said, we're on for a domestic treble potentially. So you're going to need a big squad of players to achieve that. Now one's in the bag already, which is fantastic, but to win the other two, the Premier League and the FA Cup, that's a lot of these players who started today are going to be used at some stage. So this is not the end of the world. Okay, a little bit of a rusty, not ideal first half, but it's 0-0 at Wembley in the semi-final of the FA Cup. So it's certainly not panic stations. I mean, you've got your big guns to come off the bench as and when, if needed. But I would think Pep would, let's say, maybe a few fairly strong words at half-time, but also certainly not panic stations.
Arsenal are leading Newcastle by 1-0 in the Premier League. Eberici Eze with the 9th minute opener, the assist to Kai Havertz. They're about 5 minutes away from half-time there. That result, if it stays like that, would move Arsenal back 3 points clear of City at the top of the Premier League table, and Arsenal play again before Manchester City do in the league. So by the time City go to face Everton in their next Premier League game, they could potentially be 6 points behind the Gunners, admittedly with the games in hand to play. Some more of your messages here. Terry says too narrow. Either Pep needs to move Foden to the wing or take him or Reinders off for Jeremy Doku. Well, Doku is on the bench, as is Savinho. Does Terry have a point about it all being a little bit too narrow?
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, the two, on paper, like the two wide players, Cherki and Foden, they're basically playing really narrow, almost as two number 10s. And exactly as he says then, that's taken up space for Reinders. So it's almost, there's no point having all those bodies in there. Whereby, if you play with an orthodox winger, a Doku, that's how he's in excellent form, who will stay wide, give you width, and then will pick up the ball and then run at his fullback and make things happen. It will take him on. He won't beat him every time. It will take him on a lot of the time, and when he does beat him, then suddenly there's room for something to happen, and you've made something happen. Rather than at the minute, we're almost waiting for something to happen rather than making it happen.
On Phil Foden, Randy says, doesn't look like he knows where he fits in this team anymore. And Jack says, 8 changes working well so far. I think that's sarcasm from Jack. Pick your best team, get the game won, and then make the changes. Well, that's not what Manchester City have done, and at half-time it is goalless between them and Southampton here at Wembley. Kit Simons and Josh Watton will be back to bring you the full second half on BBC Radio Manchester. You can keep your thoughts coming. Send us a WhatsApp right now. The number you need is 08000 321 333, or on social media just search for @BBC RM Sport. So elsewhere, Arsenal leading Newcastle by a goal to nil. That one's approaching half-time. Earlier, Fulham beat Aston Villa by a goal to nil. That allowed Liverpool to overtake them in the Premier League table with a 3-1 win over Crystal Palace at Anfield. They're now level on points with Manchester United, who face Brentford on Monday night at Old Trafford. And it's as you were at the bottom. Tottenham finally got a win away at bottom of the table, Wolves by a goal to nil. But West Ham conceded late and then scored even later to secure a 2-1 win over Everton, which means they remain 2 points above Tottenham in the battle to beat the drop. In League One, Bolton have secured a playoff place. They drew 1 apiece with Bradford this afternoon. In the early kick-off, Stockport beat Peterborough by 3-1. County do need another point to guarantee their place in the end-of-season playoffs. They have a game in hand that they play on Tuesday night, which you will hear on BBC Radio Manchester. And in League 2, after Salford's win the other night, Cambridge hit back with a 3-0 victory over Barrow today. That moves them back into the third automatic promotion place and sees Salford slip into the playoff positions ahead of the final round of fixtures next weekend. And Oldham were beaten on their travels 3-2 by Newport, whose win is a huge step towards safety for them. The real drama, though, came in the National League. I'm sure you've heard about it by now already. We'll reflect on Rochdale against York right after this.
Saturday and Sunday mornings with Phil Trow.
Are you asking for separate dressing rooms?
Separate hotel rooms.
We always try and go out for food. On the first 2 tours, Lee wasn't as bothered about his fitness. And I feel really sorry for him, because at the point that he's lost all his weight, the Ozempic and jabs and stuff are out. So immediately everyone goes to, you've been on the jabs, and I know he hasn't.
That's why I keep posting gym photos to prove, no, this is genuine. Yeah.
On the second tour, I think we did an 8-day stretch, and we had 5 German Donners.
So that was just Adam in one sitting.
Phil Trow, Saturday and Sunday mornings
on BBC Radio Manchester. Total Sport.
BBC Radio Manchester.
So here at Wembley, it's Manchester City 0, Southampton 0 at half-time in the FA Cup semi-final. In the second semi, Chelsea take on Leeds tomorrow. Should also let you know, City's women will have to wait a little bit longer if they are to clinch the Women's Super League title. That's after a shock 3-2 defeat today by Brighton, which delays their coronation. But the big drama came in your first commentary game of the day. Rochdale were just seconds away from securing promotion to the Football League, but their party is now on hold following a heart-wrenching climax at the Crown Oil Arena.
which place would you want to arrive at this game in? Utter deflation or utter elation? We know which one we want to arrive in, and we are arriving in that at our home stadium. Yeah, how much more motivation do we need?
I think it'd just be amazing for Rochdale because the whole town's got behind it. There's a real buzz around the place.
And we are underway in the National League title race showdown. Winner takes all. Should be on the keeper. Arriving at the back post, no, and it's into the back of the net. Oh, it's a free kick given against. Oh, it was almost the opening goal. Dan Moss it was at the back post, climbing over goalkeeper Harrison Mayo. Free kick at half-time in the National League title race showdown. It's Rochdale 0, York City 0.
I do believe in fate. I do believe certain things are meant, and the way this script has been written, there's just something that's felt fated about this.
It's Barlow, sends the ball into the near post. Keeper, goes off the crossbar, took a deflection. Keeper tried to punch it against his own man, and it ricocheted off the crossbar, millimetres away from Dale. Scoops the ball into the box, looking for the players. Diasuru! I absolutely do not believe it. Rochdale are going into the Football League. Manny Diasuru, the hero. Scenes of absolute bedlam at the Crown Oil Arena. The fans are on the pitch. Rochdale are going to be promoted into the Football League. Absolute incredible scenes here. Clipped again into the box. How goes that? Rising, headed it. Oh no! It's cleared off the lines, offside. Oh, he's given the goal. He's given the goal. Oh no! Oh no! Heartbreak for Rochdale. Sickening. And now it's the Yorks fans' turns to spill onto the pitch. What on earth is going on?
It was that much of a celebration, you can almost lose focus and think the job's done, and absolute heartbreak here for Rochdale.
The whistle's gone. Heartbreak, utter heartbreak for Rochdale in an absolutely crazy game in the National League title race showdown. What a day at the Crown Oil Arena, the Spotland Stadium. It looked, didn't it, like Rochdale had done it with that dramatic stoppage time goal, but having scored the goal that would take them automatically back into the Football League, they conceded, and it's York who go up, and now Rochdale have to settle for a place in the playoffs. They will now face whoever wins the semi-finals, of course. The way the playoffs work in that division, they will now wait to see who their opponents are. We would love to bring you reaction from the Rochdale camp and their boss Jim McNulty. However, after that agonising defeat today, nobody took the opportunity to step up and talk to ourselves or any other external media. So the Rochdale players and management, I think, licking their wounds after a really painful defeat, and will have to regroup and go again for the National League playoffs. You're listening to Total Sport on BBC Radio Manchester on the day that Rochdale's promotion dream was dashed by York. They will now go into the National League playoffs. Bolton Wanderers, though, have secured a playoff place in League One. They are guaranteed a place in the top six after a point at Bradford today. Stockport will join them if they can pick up just one more point from their remaining two matches. They have a game in hand against Port Vale on Tuesday night that you will hear commentary of on Total Sport. And then in League Two, Salford, it's out of their hands now. They go to Crawley on the final day, where they will have to win and hope Cambridge slip up in their game if they are to win automatic promotion. Otherwise, it will be the playoffs for Carl Robinson's side. The Southampton players are back out, warming up for the start of the second half. The City players, led by captain on the day John Stones, are not far behind them as he leads out the troops. It is a very warm day in North London at Wembley Stadium, but those City players are jogging out there onto the field for the start of the second half here. They're going to have to try and find some quality and some intensity if they are to book their place in a fourth successive FA Cup final. And if they don't find it in the next 45 minutes, we could even be heading for an extra half an hour, which I'm sure Pep Guardiola does not want, with the Premier League title race against Arsenal set to go right down to the wire too. Let's rejoin your commentary team for the second half here of this FA Cup semi-final. It's City 0, Southampton 0, and alongside the former City captain Kit Simons is Josh Watson.
Thank you, Bill. The ball is back on the centre spot. No changes from either side at the break as we're ready to get back underway in this FA Cup semi-final. A non-Premier League team hasn't beaten another Premier League team in a semi-final of the FA Cup since Sunderland did back in 1992. They were winners over Norwich City on that day. So Southampton really looking to book their places in the history books as they get us back underway for this second half. They'll be playing from left to right, City from right to left. So both teams will be playing towards their travelling supporters here at Wembley this afternoon. The stands just filling back up in and around Wembley Stadium as fans make their way back to the seats after their half-time refreshments. They'll be hoping for a feast of football to come in the next 45 minutes. Southampton have the possession, edge of their own 6-yard area. Perret's the goalkeeper, just puts his studs on top of the ball. There's nobody in sky blue looking like they're wanting to press him. He just rolls the ball out towards the left of the 6-yard area before picking the ball up. He's got it in his hands as Craig Pawson, the referee, begins the countdown. He's afforded a lot of time in the possession there, the goalkeeper, to decide what he wanted to do with it. And now he's got Southampton on the front foot up the left-hand side. Here's Fellows into the penalty area, cuts it back. Good challenge comes in from Ake. Trafford comes out, collects. City caught napping at the back on that occasion. Trafford to the rescue, picks up the ball, and it remains 0-0.
Yeah, he ended up doing very well in the end, Nathan Ake. Just bided his time a little bit and made a good challenge, but a little bit sloppy defensively from Man City. Ain't Nori involved in it. Not good defending at all. So, yeah, certainly need to. We said they need to be a bit sharp, a bit brighter. And it's not the best start to the second half so far.
Trafford had to be careful. There was 4 yellow shirts inside the penalty area. He rolled it out across the byline before left-footed playing it up towards halfway. Marmoush gets his chest on the ball, goes to ground under contact and wins a free kick for Manchester City right on the halfway line. Were you surprised not to see any changes from Pep Guardiola at the break?
No, not really. I don't. He's not one for making like lots of subs early in the game at all. You know, I think he would have probably had a few quite strong words and said, come on boys, you know, you're better than what you're showing here, and you need to sharpen up, like mentally as well as actually physically and on the ball. To be a bit brighter in how we play, and I think we'll give them the opportunity then. But if it's still 0-0 or City haven't scored after 60-65 minutes, then I would expect wholesale changes then.
Nico in possession for Manchester City, centre of the field, deep inside the Saints half, out towards Stones, in from the right centre-back position, finds Shirky, who does well to shrug off one challenge, rolls it out towards Kovacic on the left. In turn, he finds Neri on the left-hand touchline. Step over from him, drives for the penalty area, lays it off to Kovacic, looks for options in the middle, brings it more central. Looked as though he might have thought about a shot on that occasion, didn't do so, as again the balloons to our right, the bright yellow ones begin to pop around the air in the Southampton side of the stadium. Their side have some defending to do as Aitneri comes up the left, flicks it over the head of Bree towards the edge of the penalty area. Still going Aitneri, cuts back on his right foot, lays it off to Reiners. Challenge comes in, good defending from Southampton, cleared up and over the halfway line. Stones will collect for Manchester City. That was bright from Aitneri on that occasion on the left.
It was, he just sort of kept going, and you're like... And in the end, I think he probably should have taken a shot away himself. He tried to square it for Reinders, who just so many bodies around, he got closed down, but really bright from Aitneri.
Here comes City again. Mamouche left of the penalty area, hits it, deflects up and over the crossbar. Will be a corner kick to Manchester City. Good play again on the left from Mamouche. Brought it onto his right foot this time. Didn't force Perez into making a save before the block was made. But Manchester City have a corner, 0-0.
Yeah, he just ran into the inside left channel, Marmouche. There's a bit of space there. So he pulled away and made the run nice and bright. That was good. Received the ball, but he cuts inside, and rather than bend it for the far corner, I think he tried to cut it back for the near post, and it got blocked for a corner. But City play short.
Yeah, they've gone to Aitneri on the left, just jogs up towards the edge of the penalty area before laying it back off to Reiners, who took the corner. Right-footed ball into the penalty area, curls towards the edge of the 6-yard box, cleared away by Southampton. City scramble to surround the ball, win the possession back. Matches has it. He was a bit of an injury scare at the end of the first half as he went down, looked in a fair bit of discomfort. Abdulkadir Kusanov was stripped and ready to come on, but they opted to keep Matches on the field, and he's been able to return for the second half as well. Coming up to 50 minutes on the clock, 0-0. City have it. Ain't Neri again on the left. Ball bounces high in the Wembley air, lands on the left of the penalty area. Real tussle for possession in the early stages of this second half. City have it on the halfway line. Matches under some pressure. Not the most convincing ball to John Stones there, who's just forced to sweep it back towards James Trafford in the bright pink on the edge of his own D. Calmly gets City back on the front foot. Ball over the top. Mamouche on the left to the byline. Options in the middle. Omar Mamouche cuts it back. Southampton scramble once more and eventually manage to get the ball clear up the right hand side, only for a moment or so before City rekindle the possession. This is City starting to turn the screw now. Matches, centre of the field, options either side, finds Rangers to his left, drives towards the edge of the penalty area, lays it off to Ain't Neri in the left back position, waits for some options to appear. One does in Kovacic, brings it onto his right foot, just towards the edge of the D, forced to go back out towards the touchline where Ain't Neri can collect on the left once more, rolls his left boot over the top of the ball before finding Nathan Ake. Now it's Reiners who takes control of things. So when the Saints go marching in rings round Wembley, as City look to silence them, Ake across the 6-yard area, defects clear, and in the end Reiners can't keep hold of the possession. Southampton clear, however it's all Manchester City in the last few moments. Shirky has it again on the left, brings it in field, has options, finds Kovacic. Again, the City attack slows down for a moment or so before Reiners looks to twist through two challenges. Out towards Foden in the right wing position now, towards the byline. Matches across the 6-yard area. Again, nobody in sky blue anticipating the ball across. Southampton come up with the answers, but don't come up with the most convincing clearance. Kovacic again, in from the left. Options on the edge of the penalty area. Now Foden on the right. He's got support via Shirky again, who drives for the byline, cuts it back across goal, just needed a touch, it didn't come, but City still have it. Ain't Neri into the penalty area again, this time Mamouche's header is up and over the crossbar. It will be a Southampton goal kick, but it's the best we've seen from Manchester City in this one. However, it's 0-0.
Yeah, a really strong passage of play from City there, like wave after wave of attack. I mean, it's Southampton we spoke about in the first half, defended very well. They've got bodies back behind the ball, but it started with Bree just came flying out of his right back position, and Ain't Nori just ran in behind him. So they've got to be careful not to do stupid things like that, Southampton, because that led to then that long period of play, of attacking play from Man City. A couple of sort of half opportunities within that. The best one probably coming in the last part of the attack when Shirky fired it across the face of goal. Never going to be able to score from there, but just needed a touch from someone who took a gamble. Unfortunately, no one in Sky Blue was able to do that.
Well, there's no substitutions at the break. It does look as though Pep Guardiola has readjusted. The team that started the game, the 11 is the same, but now it's in the shape of Trafford in goal. Back four of Núñez, Stones, Ake and Ain't Neri. Midfield of Gonzalez, Kovacic and Reiners. Now it looks to be Foden on the right, Shirky down the middle, Mamouche wide left. City have it. Good turn on the halfway line from Kovacic. Sends it in towards Mamouche, left-hand side of the penalty area. Does he have any options? He doesn't. Looks to go alone, tries to cut back towards the penalty area, bundled to the ground. Free kick on the byline given by Craig Pawson, the referee. City have a free kick in a very dangerous position.
Yeah, you said good turn from Kovacic, Josh. It was absolutely brilliant from Kovacic. He plucked the ball out of the sky. Absolutely fantastic play from him. I think it was Bragg just left him for dead, and then Mamouche got him down the left-hand side and sort of sucked Harwood Bellis into challenging and making a foul. So it's right on the touchline, about 5 yards wide of the penalty box, but dangerous situation.
On the byline on the left, Reiners takes it, edge of the area, Shirky collects, will he shoot? Instead lays it across to Phil Foden, left-footed over the crossbar, doesn't trouble Perret, goes out for a goal kick to Southampton, and another attack comes to nothing for Manchester City, but they are getting much closer.
Yeah, definitely, and the ball was a little bit more tempo to the pass, so Foden was able to come on and take the shot first time. And it's a confident, informed Phil Foden puts that in the top corner. We've seen him do it numerous times. But like I say, he's just a little bit low on confidence and not quite in his groove at the moment, but still an exceptional player, and hopefully as the second half goes on, he'll get stronger and stronger.
Southampton in the possession. It's a lovely warm afternoon here at Wembley. It was around 21 degrees at kick-off. You can just see the sun now kissing the upper two tiers of Wembley at the city side of the stadium. The fans up there just shielding their eyes from the brightness, and the view they have is one of Southampton attacking. The shot from the edge of the area, Stewart caught it well, but it was straight down the middle of the goal. James Trafford easily collected, looks to get City on the front foot as Marmoush was bundled over as he came across to collect. Free kick goes away of the Sky Blues. The Southampton fans not too happy with that decision, but I'm not too sure that Craig Pawson had much choice.
No, it's definitely a foul, but I mean, what it was, Southampton are now going almost 1-for-1 at the back, so Harwood Bellis is left in a 1v1 situation with Marmoush. Trafford, to be fair, got the ball quickly in his hand, saw the opportunity and just fizzed it into that area, sort of like inside left channel. Marmoush got the run on Harwood Bellis, who then got very tight. It's clearly a foul for me, but he's now fouled Marmoush on 4 or 5 occasions, and I think just accumulation number of fouls. Craig Pawson's, I think, made the lowest number of bookings this season in the Premier League for any referee, but I think even he will soon get the yellow card out if Harwood Bellis was to make another one on Marmoush.
Savinho and Jeremy Doku are ready to be introduced for Pep Guardiola, who watches on, arms folded on the edge of his technical area. You can see Kovacic in the possession. The City switch it out towards the right-hand side. Here's Phil Foden, Wellington to beat. Brings it back on the left boot of his once more before finding Mathias Nunes. He just stops the ball dead before rolling it more central. There's a couple of yellow balloons again just drop into our vantage point here as we're tucked away just in the Southampton side of halfway at Wembley. City attacking to our left, and they have it on the edge of the penalty area. Into the box it goes from Nunes. He's going to have a shot at goal. It deflects off of Wood, who did well to go to ground and just created a long barrier there to turn it out for a throw into Manchester City on the far side, in line with the penalty area. And the fans in Sky Blue are encouraged, but that will give Pep Guardiola the opportunity to make these substitutions. Phil Foden is the first of the two to make way. Mateo Kovacic will also watch the remainder of this one from the sidelines. 33 minutes to go here at Wembley. 0-0 the score, and a first roll of the dice from Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, and we spoke about, genuine width, and this is what you're getting now with Doku and Savinho both coming on. So there's a genuine width. Phil Foden, I feel a little bit for him. He looks disappointed, a disappointed figure walking off, but he's had an opportunity today and it's not really gone his way, unfortunately for him. But Pep's given him a bit of a cuddle and a pat on the head. But hopefully now, with the genuine width coming on, like I say, with Savinho and Doku, we'll see an increase in tempo of play, and wingers getting at their fullbacks, beating them and hopefully putting crosses in.
Doku occupies the left, Savinho on the right, and here is the Brazilian as he looks to make something happen up the touchline. It just bounces off a yellow shirt again for a repeat throw into Manchester City. This time they go back towards the halfway line. 58 minutes on the clock, 0-0. BBC Radio Manchester, where you'll find every Manchester City commentary. Nico Gonzalez, left it goes to Reiners, still central in terms of the position on the field inside the Southampton half of the pitch. Now Doku tight to left-hand touchline, drives to the penalty area, goes for the byline before cutting back on his right foot, finds Reiners, who's going to look to curl one, and it's a whisker wide of the post. A lovely bending effort there from Tiani Reiners. Keeper looks stranded, however, much to Peretz's relief, it goes wide of the upright, and it remains Manchester City 0, Southampton 0.
But just straight away, the things we spoke about, Josh, suddenly Doku getting in wide area, stretches Southampton. He then comes inside, plays a decent early ball into Reiners, who's now in a bit of space and is able to get his shot away, and it just wasn't enough whip on it. It stayed fairly straight but just went past the far post. But just that small period of play is better from City already.
Southampton fans find their voice once again as Mathias Nunes wins the possession back. Manchester City fans in sky blue behind that goal, almost trying to suck the ball into the back of the net. And their side attack again down the right. Ball into the penalty area. Deflects off Wellington. Corner kick Manchester City. Savinho instantly involved, and he just gets the City fans going. Takes the corner quickly too. Edge of the area. Matches. Shapes to cross. Can't manage to do so. Rolls it across towards Reiners. In turn, he pings it out towards Doku on the left of the penalty area. Shapes to cross. Again, just tries to feed it through the gap into the 6-yard box, and eventually it's turned over the crossbar. Marmoush was there, left-footed, just scoops underneath the ball, puts it over the crossbar, and it remains 0-0.
Yeah, it's absolute brilliant ball from Doku. As he first plays, I've always overhit that, but not at all. And it's a brilliant slid pass through in between two defenders. But unfortunately, just ball's cut back, and Marmoush is leaning back a bit on his right foot, and it just goes over the bar. But a real clear opportunity, and just straight away, that's two chances now, having made these substitutions, bringing the orthodox width onto the pitch, moving the ball quickly, and it's two real good chances.
Double substitution for Southampton. Fellows and Stewart replaced by Kyle Larin and Shea Charles. So attacking switches. In fact, it's not Fellows, it's Cameron Bragg who makes his way off the Southampton midfielder. Shea Charles and Kyle Larin certainly know where the goal is, so maybe a sign of intent there from Tonda Eckert, who's had to watch his side do most of the defending in the second half. We're over the hour mark here at Wembley. 0-0 the score on BBC Radio Manchester. Southampton get us back underway with the goal kick. Down centre field it goes. Ake, as his hair just flicks in the air as he goes up for the header, wins the ball as well, looks to get City on the way down the left hand side yet again. Neri has Doku down the touchline, plays it in field instead towards Reiners, who finds Doku eventually. One to beat in the shape of Bree, stands him up, he's got options in field, but he's going to go himself for the byline, in towards the box, cuts it across, deflects in the air. Savinho at the far post, can he shape to shoot? Couldn't manage to do so. Wellington, his fellow countryman there again, it's turned up towards the halfway line. And now can Southampton launch any form of counter-attack? Up the touchline, Larin went, tried to feed it back in field, but City do really well to scramble the possession back. Trafford turns it out towards Reiners. This game is livening up in the last few moments. 0-0, but you do get the sense that an opener is coming. On the halfway line, Nico looks to his right. He's got a swarm of yellow bodies in front of him, so just rolls it to Matches, who plays it down the touchline. Nico again, this time finds Shirky right at the penalty area, cuts it across, goal! Marmoush was there, couldn't find the touch, which would have turned it home. Somehow City don't find the back of the net. Pep Guardiola slaps his thighs and punches the air. His side are doing everything but score in the second half. 62 minutes on the clock, it's 0-0, but City come forward again. Reiners edge of the area, looks for the 1-2, instead it's Ake who collects. Now Doku to the corner flag, rolls his right boot over the ball, cuts back in field, corner of the penalty area on the left. Now Reiners, right-footed pass 10 yards or so to his right where Nico can collect, returns the ball to the left with Ake. Doku in support, he's made a difference since coming on, goes for the byline again, past Fellows, cuts back on his right foot, Fellows just gets a toe on it to stop Doku in his tracks momentarily. Here's Doku once more, finds Reiners, edge of the penalty area. Can City force an effort on goal? They forced it out towards the right-hand side where it's collected by Matches Nunes. Now it's Savinho who comes deeper to get involved. Towards the byline again. City have options in the middle. It's into the 6-yard area. Takes a deflection off Wood, and it will be another corner kick to Manchester City. They are hammering on the door here. 0-0.
I mean, these substitutions have made such a huge change to the whole dynamic of the game. Just bringing on that extra width has then created more space centrally as well. And it's the whole dynamic of the game has changed completely. And City looking really, really threatening now.
Shirky right at the penalty area. Still plenty of options in the middle from the corner. Savinho back into Shirky. Looks to try dribble through 3 players again. This time just retreats. Finds Savinho. Parry clear from the shot. City still have it. Doku on the left. One to beat. This time can't get past Fellows, and now Southampton could break forward. Down the centre of the field they go. Long ball. Trafford comes out, gets there first. Brilliant goalkeeping. Very alert there from James Trafford. Pep Guardiola almost celebrates that as a goal as he puts both fists in the air to congratulate his goalkeeper. It's easy for a goalkeeper to switch off, isn't it, when he sides done so much attacking, but Trafford was alert to the danger there.
Well, it is virtually the whole of this second half has been played in the Southampton half. But he kept his awareness, and it's really important then because every City player's forward and all pressing, it's going to leave space in behind. So they will still be vulnerable to that counter attack. But like I say, need that sweeper keeper, and even now they're in this.
Savinho into the penalty area, got past one, couldn't quite beat the second. In from the right hand side, jinking onto that left boot of his. You could see that only one thing was on his mind, and that was to try curl an effort goalwards. He just nicked off his boot in the nick of time, and now Cienza, the left winger, can clear the ball down the centre of the field. But again, City now first to every second ball as well, aren't they? And that's a difference. In the first half it was very scrappy, and maybe that's the way that Southampton wanted this game to be played.
I think that's what they wanted. First half, like I say, so congested centrally. They were quite comfortable and quite happy with it. But now City are posing problems and asking questions pretty much in every attack. Like I say, just by using the full width of the pitch and stretching Southampton wide, then when the ball does come central from a wide area, and quite often it's coming to Reinders or whoever central, they've had a bit more time, a bit more space, and been able to cause something. Or the ball's gone wide to the wingers, and they both look to take on their man as well. Savinho on the right and Doku on the left, and they both got the beating of their fullback. So again, that's another option. But just there, that last attack, again, City all forward, but suddenly no one in the left back position. It was like left a bit open. So you've got to be careful. Again, as much as City now, by the looks of the way the game's going to go, are going to get more and more ball, more and more attacking options. The rest defence and the setup when they're attacking still needs to be right.
City have a throw in line with the penalty area. It goes back to Stones, who's just looked in a bit of discomfort, but he's okay to continue and plays the ball in field again, this time towards Gonzalez. Finds Doku on the left-hand touchline. What can he do on this occasion? Gets towards the penalty area once more. Cuts back on his right boot. Across the box it goes. Again, it's a real scramble inside there. Almost falls on the boot of Aït-Nouri. Nicked off it just in time from a Saints point of view. They clear it up towards halfway, but Jones calmly with the header just lets the ball bounce off his forehead out towards the left, where Doku can set off on another attack. This time plays it towards Aït-Nouri. Across the 6-yard area it goes. Challenge came in, was a really good one. Had to be made. Looks as though it was going to find Mamouche, who was lurking on the edge of the 6-yard box. City again can't find the finish. They're still in the possession, deep inside the Southampton half of the field though. On the left-hand side, this time it's a solid challenge that comes in from Finazaz, right-footed, just to clip it out towards the left, but the clearance once again isn't the best. Manchester City's Premier League class maybe just starting to show. They've won 21 games in a row against lower league opposition in the FA Cup. That's the longest run from any side in history, and they've done it by a score on aggregate of 84-11. Mamouche on the edge of the area, cuts back on his left foot, rolls it in towards Ake, and Mamouche just clipped the Southampton defender as the challenge came in. Craig Pawson adjudges him to have been a bit too keen, and a free kick and a moment's respite there for Southampton, 0-0.
Yeah, interesting. Just when their substitutions were made, I saw Pep Guardiola talking to Aït-Nouri, and since the substitutions, he's played anywhere but left back. Quite often been City's highest player. It's incredible how they play this position now and under Pep. Like Nico O'Reilly, when he plays there, is quite often the highest and almost most central player, even more than Erling Haaland at times. And Aït-Nouri, for this sort of 10-minute spell, has done exactly the same. He's been constantly in the Southampton penalty box. But like I say, the only flip side is when Southampton do break, someone's got to fill that hole that's left.
Southampton from the free kick just punt it long down centre field. It bounces into the arms of James Trafford, who with both arms rolls it out to John Stones, and City looks set to set off in this latest tirade of attack as Noel Gallagher watches on. Tifo of him was unveiled behind the goal before the game, as well as Liam Gallagher saying hello, City are back. Back in an 8th consecutive FA Cup semi-final, looking to reach their 4th consecutive FA Cup final, and even more history for Pep Guardiola's side. They need a goal, 0-0 the score. And now O'Reilly, who knows a thing or two about scoring goals at Wembley, is preparing to come on alongside Erling Haaland. Right-hand side City have it towards the byline. It's another winding run. It's another good bit of defending from Wellington. But it will be a corner kick to Manchester City. Good play from Savinho. Pep Guardiola turns his back on the corner, maybe preparing himself to give some final words to Erling Haaland and Nico O'Reilly. And when you need a goal in a game, Erling Haaland's a pretty decent option to have up your sleeve on the bench. Corner to City, in towards a penalty area, nodded away by Howard Bellis. Collected on the edge of the area once again. It nearly out towards Doku on the left. City keep options up from the back. Doku, pass one to the byline. Brings it back on his right boot. Can he find an option? He can. Nico, edge of the box. Finds Shirky onto his right foot. Cuts back on his left. 2 to beat. Twists away. Gets a shot on goal. Deflects. Up, but not away by Southampton. Collected on the edge of the penalty area by Ake, but the referee spots an infringement. Free kick goes away of Southampton. And again, I was wondering when Pep Guardiola would turn to his talisman striker, Erling Haaland, and it seems like a pretty good time to bring him on. 20 minutes to go, 0-0, and he could be the difference, couldn't he?
Absolutely, just like you say, Josh, I mean, not a bad option to bring. Well, both of these boys coming on now, Erling Haaland as well as Nico O'Reilly, both of them have, I mean, Haaland is a goal machine, and Nico O'Reilly's been exceptional this season, so.
Erling Haaland hasn't scored a goal or assisted a goal for Manchester City in a semi-final or a final, so he's going to have to break that unwanted record if that is to continue. It is Marmoush and Aït-Nouri who are replaced for the final 20 minutes of this one, and the City fans are on their feet to greet the duo onto the field in front of us. 0-0 the score. Southampton free kick on the edge of their own penalty area. You can just see one in Saints colours going through the warm-ups on the touchline in an luminous orange warm-up bib. Sonderrecker hoping that he may still have a few tricks up his sleeve, but so far his side defensively have done what has been required and have kept Manchester City to 0, and now have the possession just inside the City half of the field with a throw-in which Wellington takes, goes back towards Wood, and now maybe Southampton just looking to put their foot on the ball for a moment or so, but City nick it back straight away into the penalty area. This for the opener, parried clear, still an opportunity. Shirky, right-footed, appeals for handball. Reiners past the post. Well, 3 chances there for Manchester City to force a keeper into action. They managed to do on the first, however Reiners' effort in the end fell on his left boot, hit it on the volley and just put it past the upright. Gilt-edged chance there for Manchester City, who are appealing for a handball, but it's another opportunity which goes astray, and it remains 0-0.
Yeah, really good play again. I mean, it came from a Southampton mistake. City pressed high, won the ball in midfield and broke. Looked really, really dangerous, almost like a triple chance, really. Initially, the keeper stands up well, Peretz for Southampton, and parries the first shot away. And then the second one gets blocked. There's appeals for handball, but I don't think so. I think it's... No, he's turned his back, his arms in. You're never going to get that as a handball. But good opportunity for City, or triple opportunity almost.
Southampton look to advance, but for the offside flag to be raised, City will have a free kick.
But you do get the feeling though, City do need to score now. This has been second half really total dominance. I mean, first half Southampton played well, I thought, and were in the game, and they had a good period in the game when they probably got on top for a 5-minute spell. But now this is total dominance from Man City. But you've got to score when you get a period of play like this, and you're totally dominant, creating chances. You need to put the ball away.
Ake has it for Manchester City. 0-0 the score. 73.5 minutes on the clock. Doku sets on his way up the left again, but beaten to it by Bree, who turns it back towards Peretz. First time he clears it up towards halfway, only for City to pick the possession back up. O'Reilly looking to get involved in the thick of things. Just plays it towards Stones. On the right of the centre circle, he's looking for options down the touchline. He's forced to go via Matches, who in the end manages to feed it into the path of Shirky, who's got one to beat. To the touchline where he finds Savinho, who jinks in field, looks for the give and go, manages to get it on the second bounce, right hand side of the penalty area. Across it comes the D as Southampton scramble everyone back behind the ball defensively, proving really stubborn to break down. But City look to come forward yet again. Nico Gonzalez down centre field. Could have been an opening to shoot there, but instead plays it out towards the left-hand side where Doku can collect in a yard of space or so, gets into the penalty area. He's going to kill one, it deflects, goes past the post, corner kick to Manchester City. They are knocking on the door, but so far Southampton's defence is clinging on. Another corner to Manchester City.
Yeah, both the wingers since coming on have looked such a threat, and Southampton just want to, Oman's gone down, they want to slow this down now. They want to have a bit of a breather, gain a bit of respite, because City have been hammering on the door, and like I say, both wide players coming on, Savinho and Jeremy Doku, both been excellent, really positive, really dynamic, creating chances. Doku there, that last one, he's got that little sort of step over he does, his feet are so quick, and defenders almost know what he's going to do. It's virtually impossible to stop. Cuts inside, he's trying to bend it for the far post, and his shot just got blocked. It's gone out for another corner, but like I say, Southampton have now got a man down. If he is injured, fair play, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a tactical thing to just try and slow this game down now, because City are getting so on top.
Kaoru Matsuki is ready to be introduced for Southampton. It looks as though it is Wellington, who's a man down receiving treatment, who's going to be replaced. James Trafford has just come all the way out from his penalty area to receive some instructions from Pep Guardiola on the touchline. As Wellington makes his way off the field, round the back of the goal. He's going to have to walk past the travelling Manchester City fans on his way to the dugouts. Matsuki, the Japanese under-23 international, is introduced for the remainder of this one. Corner taken from Manchester City from the left. Finds Shirky, clips it to the penalty area. Corrects, comes and collects far too easy. It was floated in towards the 6-yard area. Solid goalkeeping. However, he throws it up towards the halfway line. City win it back. Doku on his way down the left again. In it comes. Haaland lurking. Doku jinks in. Can't win the ball back. In the end, it's Larin, the striker, who finds himself in a defensive position. Just does enough to keep hold of the possession for Southampton. They go long over the halfway line. Cienza gave chase. Couldn't win it. Now Ake is down holding his hamstring. O'Reilly turns the ball out of play, so he can receive some treatment if required. And again, just a couple of those in sky blue come across towards the dugouts to have a word with Pep Guardiola, who's still giving the signals, the hand gestures and the instructions to his side. Nathan Ake is back up on his 2 feet, just gives the back of his left leg a bit of a rub, but he doesn't look comfortable at all. Pep Guardiola's almost forced into making a defensive substitution in the first half of this one. Abdulkadir Kusanov was the option. Remains to be seen if Ake can continue, because he doesn't look like he's moving all too freely. But Southampton take the throw-in. They throw it back towards Nathan Ake, who just lets it run past as James Trafford comes out of his penalty area to collect. And now Manchester City go on the hunt for an opener. 77.5 minutes gone, 0-0 the score here on BBC Radio Manchester. BBC Sounds, your home of every Manchester City commentary from now till the end of the season, as City look to break forward up the right yet again. Reiner's played the ball in, but Southampton win it back. This is where they could be dangerous up the left-hand side with Cienza. He's got matches to beat. Plays it in field towards the edge of the penalty area. Chance for a shot! Oh, it's a beauty! Finn Hazard gives Southampton the opener, and the yellow side of Wembley is sent into utter delirium. A fantastic bending finish into the top right-hand corner. James Trafford at full stretch couldn't get there, and Manchester City are clinging on to their hopes of a 4th successive FA Cup final. Manchester City 0, Southampton 1.
Well, that's an absolutely fantastic strike, it's got to be said. I mean, City will be kicking themselves. It came from Shirky getting caught on the ball but on the halfway line, and City then never touched it after that. They moved the ball quite quickly, Southampton. It came central, but what a strike. Absolutely incredible. Came into him, he's still got an awful lot to do, Aziz. He's quite a long way out, and he bends it into the top corner. It's an absolutely sublime strike. And it's a sucker punch for Man City, who've been excellent in the second half, dominating the game. But like we said, you've got to score when you're on top at such a dominant period of the game. You've got to take one of your chances and take a goal. They didn't, they paid the price.
I was about to make the point to you, Kit Simons, that if you offered Tunde Eke the chance to go into this game 0-0 with 10 minutes to go, he would have taken it, and that is exactly why, because they've got the quality to do just that, and they punished Manchester City for all the wasteful attacks. Absolutely. But like I say, City can't get away from the fact they've done really well setting up, especially since the substitutions. And sometimes, like I say, it is an absolute worldie of a goal. It's a fantastic goal, but like I say, City got to keep doing what they've been doing since they made these substitutions and try and get an opportunity. One's got to fall for Erling Haaland, because it's, like I say, at the moment, they're looking at being out of the FA Cup. And the noise coming from our right is almost deafening. The Southampton fans, arms in the air, aloft in the yellow jerseys of theirs, which replicate the heroics of 1976. Well, they may be just about to pull off another shot just as big to put themselves a place in an FA Cup final. The first one since 2003 for them, where they were beaten by Arsenal. It'd be Leeds United or Chelsea, which await them. Ake has it. Left-hand side finds Doku. City needs something, and they need it soon. Looking to hit back. Doku with Bree to beat. Looks to bring it onto his right boot on the edge of the area. In towards the box. There's a shot. O'Reilly's there. It's blocked and cleared away by Southampton. Pep Guardiola, hands on hips. He looks stunned, and so does one half of Wembley. The half wearing sky blue, stunned for all the wrong reasons, and Southampton maybe for all the right ones. The City come forward again towards the penalty area, across the 6-yard box. Haaland was there, beaten to it. Good goalkeeping to turn it behind for a corner kick to Manchester City. They're playing with a bit more urgency now. It's taken quickly on the right-hand side. Savinho drives towards the box, brings it on his left foot. Can he find a shot? Instead lays it across. Reiniers collects. Doku in support to his left. Back across the D it comes. Out towards the right-hand side once more. Options in the middle. Clip towards the far post. Ake underneath it. Finds Reiniers. Controls it with his right boot. Now Doku onto his right foot. Tries a shot. It deflects. Oh, it's got into the back of the net. A goal out of nowhere. Jeremy Doku, right-footed, takes a deflection and beats Peretz on his left-hand post. City find an instant response in the FA Cup semi-final. They've pulled it onto level terms. Manchester City won. Southampton won.
Well, I say you've got to get what you deserve. They've now got what they deserved. Ended up a little bit of good fortune as well for Doku, but he does everything right. The ball goes, switched out to the right-hand side initially, comes in from across, played back out to the left end to Doku, who cuts back inside, bit of a jink, gets his shot. It does get quite a heavy deflection, but goes in the far corner. Game on again now, 1-1.
We're already back underway. City pick the ball out of the back of the net. Look to get on the front foot, but now it's Southampton looking to retake the lead into the penalty area. Could be an opportunity for a shot. It's Lauren with his back to goal, and then it does come in. It's Trafford who's forced to rise high with his left arm, tip it over the crossbar. Southampton corner kick, and what a cup tie this second half has turned out to be.
Well, there's two good opportunities in that for Southampton. I think City were looking for an offside, but I'm not sure there was one. It's resulted in a corner now for Southampton, but a brilliant response from them. It ends up with quite a good save from Jay. I mean, it's sort of straight at him, but it's still a decent save from Trafford to put it over the bar. But really exciting game now.
Yeah, it's a save you expect your goalkeeper to make, and James Trafford did just enough to clip it over the crossbar. Corner kick to Southampton, 1-1 the score, 7 minutes to go. Cienza over it, right-footed, high towards the penalty area. lands almost on the penalty spot, flips back goalwards. Surely there was an offside in there. The assistant referee agrees, but the referee Craig Paulson waves play on, and City are on the counter-attack. Doku has got support from Shirky, tries to feed it in. Good defending from Yanda, gets his right boot on it, turns it out for a throw into City. Bernardo Silva's ready to come on as a substitute. He's acting ball boy there down the left-hand side, sprinted down the touchline to try and keep the momentum of the City attack. Couldn't.
I just felt, Josh, with that last attack, he's at full flow, Doku, and Shirky sort of makes a run almost into his space. Stay away, just leave Doku 1v1. So he's got the beating all day long at a fullback. Just leave him 1v1 and let him go at goal. But Shirky worked hard to get forward, but just took up the space I think that Doku wanted.
Matches to the byline, brings it towards a penalty area. Ball stays in play. Good challenge in the end from the Southampton defence, but Matches wins it back again. This time gets past his man, but puts too much on it. Goes out for a goal kick to Southampton, and now Manchester City can make their next change. It is Bernardo Silva on in place of Tiani Reiniers. He's got 5 minutes plus added time to make a difference in this one, Bernardo Silva. A reminder, we will be set for extra time if it remains level after 90 minutes. Of course, the dreaded penalties which could come. 1-1 the score on BBC Radio Manchester. It's a game that could go either way. It hangs in the balance. City have had all of the possession, all of the territory in the second half. However, Southampton showed that on the counter-attack they are dangerous. Took the lead only for Jeremy Doku's deflected effort to find an equaliser for Pep Guardiola's side. 1-1 with Doku in possession on halfway. Brings it up the left-hand side, dragged to ground by Bree. Free kick goes away with Manchester City. Looks as though they're just looking to up the tempo a little bit here, Man City as well, which is where you usually see Championship sides caught out.
Which is what they needed in the first half. You know, one of the callers said at half-time, you know, it's too slow, everything's too slow, but since they've increased the width with the substitutions, that's increased the tempo of the play as well. So the second half has been much, much improved.
Shirky to the box, Haaland's there, can't make contact. Bree underneath it, didn't know who was behind him, turns it behind. Corner kick, Manchester City, and now they are pressing for what could well be the winner. Bernardo Silva on the left-hand side, plays it infield towards Jeremy Doku, who's one-on-one again as he gets in towards the penalty area. On the byline, cuts it back into the 6-yard box. Chance, shot comes in, Nico blocks away. Southampton leave to tell the tale, but only for a moment or so as City come again. Bernardo Silva on the left, looking to bow out of his Manchester City on a number of highs. There's a shot from distance! How about that from Nico Gonzalez? An absolute bullet into the top left-hand corner, and you do not keep those out. A goal befitting of booking a place in a fourth successive FA Cup final for Manchester City. They've come from behind and lead Southampton by 2-1.
That was an absolutely ridiculous strike of football. It's like nothing on it. He picks up the ball in loads of time, loads of space. No rush whatsoever. But Southampton don't come out and close him down. He just takes a touch. He's still an awful long way out. It's a good 25, maybe even 30 yards out. And the strike is as straight as an arrow. It's absolutely sublime. Fantastic goal from Nico Gonzalez. I mean, to be fair to Southampton, Aziz, his goal was incredible. This was even better. This one from Nico Gonzalez was even better. Absolutely fantastic strike.
From agony to ecstasy, Manchester City are in front in this FA Cup semi-final thanks to that worldie from Nico Gonzalez into the top corner. I don't think any goalkeeper in the world would have kept that one out, and I imagine if Nico Gonzalez tries that type of effort 100 times in training, probably only comes off that one time. That one time it happened here at Wembley.
Well, Pellets is a really good goalkeeper, and he's had a very strong game today, but it's past him before he can get anywhere near it. You know, it's as true a cleaner strike of the football as you're ever going to see, really. It was absolutely fantastic, brilliant goal, right in the top corner.
Another substitution for Southampton. Samuel Edozie, the former Manchester City academy player, is introduced. High fives as he makes his way onto the field. There's James Bree, who replaced him. We've also seen Southampton come at the right side with Charles in towards the box again. Ake deflects, goes out. Will be a corner kick to Southampton. Cameron Archer also onto the field for Southampton to join the attack as they now search for an equaliser to take this game to extra time. 2-1 the score in favour of Manchester City, and now Pep Guardiola's side have some defending to do. It was 75 minutes of very little action and 15 minutes of complete drama in the FA Cup. Football's oldest competition continues to provide the entertainment. Sienza over the corner for Southampton. High towards a 6-yard area. John Stones wasn't too confident there, as was Nathan Ake. Both rose for the header. In the end, it's turned behind for a repeat corner, this time from the left-hand side. Maybe just lost his bearings inside the penalty area there, John Stones. But no-nonsense approach. City have more defending to do. As we approach the 90th minute, all eyes on the fourth official to see how long will be added on, but Southampton have a corner. Everyone back defending for Manchester City. In it comes, Trafford comes, punch is clear, and City could counter-attack. Doku up towards halfway, keeper's in no man's land. Jamie Doku's past him, he's got support. Out on the left-hand side, gets past one, it's an open goal. Can he fire it home? Instead plays it across to Savinio, off the line. A goal-saving challenge from Southampton, and now it's them who could come on the counter-attack. End-to-end stuff. Sienza for the Saints. Left-hand side. Ball floated across towards the right. Collected by Azaz, the scorer of Southampton's goal, towards the penalty area. Ake heads clear. City have it back. O'Reilly down the left, and Doku again has acres of space to work with. That would have been the goal to wrap it up for Manchester City. Savinio's effort cleared off the line, but here's Shirky, edge of the area. Step over, shot, deflects. Doku collects, left of the D, back up towards halfway. Sensible play there from Jeremy Doku just to slow things down. We've had 1 minute of additional time at the end of the 90 here at Wembley as Doku puts his right studs on the ball. Just looking to kill the clock a little bit. Jinks past one, then past another. Velcro on his boot. O'Reilly across the 6-yard area. Savinio slices it. Haaland gets it nowhere near goal. It actually ended up further away from the posts. Southampton win the possession back. 1 minute of the 90 we've played, of the added on 7 rather we've played. So 6 minutes to go here at Wembley. 6 minutes for Southampton to try and find a leveller. They're on the break up the right-hand side again. City scramble to get bodies back behind the ball. Up the right-hand side. Chance towards the penalty area. Ball in towards Larin. He was lurking in behind John Stones. He did well to go to ground. Slides in. Makes a challenge. Does really well the Manchester City captain. And the Sky Blues win a throw-in on this near side. Well, that was a breathtaking period of football, Kit Simons.
Well, if you, like you said, Josh, if the first 75 minutes weren't so entertaining, the last 15 have had it all. Been absolutely incredible. I mean, I do think City have been good in this second half, like I say, especially since they made the subs. But this last 15 minutes of play have been some fantastic football. Really open chances for both teams. It's been breathtaking to keep up with it. It really has.
As Erling Haaland has the possession, City come from behind and now lead by 2-1. We've had 2.5 minutes of the 7 additional at the end of the game as Doku goes to ground under a challenge as he tried to break forward. Shea Charles sees yellow for that as the player of the match has been awarded to Nico Gonzalez for what looks to be the match winner, unless Southampton can pull another trick out of their hat. Bernardo Silva stands over the free kick around 15 yards or so inside the Southampton half of the field, plays it short. Him and O'Reilly exchange a 1-2. Now Nico Gonzalez once again loses out in the challenge though, but Craig Pawson spots there was a tug on the arm there of Nico Gonzalez. Free kick goes away of Manchester City. Kasper Jander just judged to have been too keen there to try and win the possession back, and City have it again with Doku. He goes towards a corner flag before jinking infield, takes a deflection off Charles. Will be a corner kick to Manchester City as they're just looking to show their professionalism and their class here to try run down the clock, and another trip to Wembley is the prize at the end of it. Pep Guardiola watches on, still doesn't look too overjoyed with his side as he claps his hands in frustration. City now employing some of the dark arts maybe, which we've seen teams do to them on a number of occasions this season while defending a lead. Now it's City's turn to deploy them as they get ready to take a corner. Surely going to go short towards Jeremy Doku before Craig Pawson just asking the two Southampton defenders to make sure they're the required distance away from the ball. Eventually they are. City take the corner shot towards Jeremy Doku. He has 2 in yellow on his shirt, looks to twist past one of them, goes for the penalty area, is on the byline, ball stays in the field of play just as a bit of trickery almost sees Southampton get out, but for a good challenge there from Ryan Cherky. You can see for a second he instinctively wanted to go towards goal. I think maybe his maturity got the better of him there, took it towards a corner flag, and the second ticked down, and they are now working in favour of Manchester City, who look to book their place in yet another FA Cup final. What a record they've had under Pep Guardiola. They've only lost one game outside of Wembley under his reign. That was against Wigan Athletic, as Finazaz was bundled to the ground on the edge of the centre circle, so free kick goes away of Southampton, and it's getting towards last chance saloon. But there's that saying, Kit Simons, you always get one more chance.
Well, generally yes, the City will need to defend properly now, keep their focus and concentration, and no one do anything silly, that's for sure. So
Daniel Peretz has made his way up towards the attack before Tonda Eckert says, don't do that. Tells him to go back in towards his own half of the pitch. Southampton get things resumed with a diagonal ball out towards the left hand side. It's flicked towards the penalty area. Ake rises, heads it clear. City anywhere will do for them, but Southampton collect the possession. Flicked over the head of Savinho, who does well at the second attempt to get his boot around the ball. Can't quite win the possession back though, helped out by Matheus Nunes, who eventually does so. Turned in towards Nico Gonzalez, who calmly transitions defence to attack for Manchester City. Up towards Erling Haaland on the halfway line. They want to try and get the Norwegian in behind. He just wags his finger in the air as the ball evades him, runs all the way through towards Peretz. We've had 96 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. 7 minutes added on. Southampton come forward again. Cienza, the Southampton fans rise to their feet. Cienza goes to ground. Craig Pawson doesn't move. The ball trickles over the byline. Will be a goal kick to Manchester City. The Southampton fans aren't happy with that decision. I bet Pep Guardiola is. Remains 2-1 City.
Yeah, it's a good call from Craig Pawson. He's trying to buy a cheap foul there for his team, Cienza, but he's far too experienced to fall for that one, Craig Pawson, and rightly so. A goal kick to Manchester City, and this will kill up a bit more time.
James Trafford just bounces the ball in front of him a couple of times before placing it on the edge of the 6-yard box. We've had the 7 minutes of additional time here at Wembley Stadium. City with a 2-1 lead. Craig Pawson has a good long look at his watch before James Trafford will play this one long off that right boot of his over the halfway line. The whistle to his lips. The City players put their fists in the air. The Southampton players drop to the floor. A valiant effort from them, but City's class showed in the end. It was a game where chances were few and far between until a stunning strike from Finn Azaz opened the scoring for Southampton, and they were 10 minutes away from an FA Cup final. But that lead only lasted 2 minutes before Jeremy Doku's effort from the edge of the penalty area deflected into the bottom corner. Then Nico Gonzalez said, anything you can do, I can do better. A stunning strike from outside the penalty area into the top corner. Books another day at Wembley Stadium for Manchester City, a 4th successive FA Cup final in a row. The first team in history to achieve that feat. It's finished here at Wembley Stadium. Manchester City 2, Southampton 1.
And didn't it just burst into life second half? City on on the front foot for long periods in that second half, Kit Simons, yet found themselves behind late on, but as they so often do, they found that quality, that desire, that hunger to get themselves over the line.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was a really good. The second half display for me was much improved on the first half. The whole tempo of the play, chances created, just looking a real threat going forward for the whole of the second half. But you felt that they got a score, and they didn't, and the goal out of nowhere almost, but a wonderful strike from Aziz to give Southampton the lead. But then City deservedly got themselves back into the game, and I mean, the goal from Nico Gonzalez was just absolutely incredible. Doku, you could almost see that coming. He'd been brilliant, Doku, since he came on. For me, the substitutions won the game. Those substitutions bringing on Doku and Savinho. Savinho was good, Doku was fantastic. And he deserved his goal. Doku was a real threat and created so many opportunities. Got a bit of a lucky deflection, but you earn your luck sometimes, and he more than deserved that goal. Subs changed the game and won it for City, but the strike from Nico Gonzalez, you just want to keep watching that over and over again. Absolutely sublime. Wonderful strike, giving Perez in the Southampton goal no chance whatsoever. But Southampton, a good display. They worked hard, they caused problems, but City, their second half display, very deserving winners.
Yeah, that goal was the kind of goal that's fitting of winning any cup game. I guess Southampton would say their goal was probably fitting of winning any cup game, but that came against the run of play, and then it was just the question of can they hang on, can they see it out, and City just redoubled their efforts, and they needed a bit of good fortune, didn't they, with the Doku effort. It took a deflection, but he'd been terrorising them down that side ever since he came on, so you felt he was going to get an opportunity at some point, and maybe the deflection was the little bit of luck that he earned through his hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. I said, he deserved it because he'd been brilliant. He was brilliant the whole time that he was on the pitch, but up to that, he was excellent. So
let me just stop you there, Kit. We're going to hear from Nico Gonzalez, the match winner. He's with Kelly Summers.
Last season, but it wasn't that good, to be fair. So yeah, it's amazing to score at the end, and it's been a long time without playing, and being here, with this amazing stadium, with this atmosphere, it's amazing feeling.
Talk us through the goal and how you saw it, because the game was so incredibly frantic at that point.
Yeah, actually, I think I had a few chances to shoot because they were defending so deep. We are playing really good second half and making them be on their own area. And I was waiting for the chance, and I had it, so I gave it everything. I shoot with everything, and it went in.
When the goal went in, Alan Shearer in commentary said that's what champions do. You were pushed all the way today. It's been an intense week, but is that what it feels like in the dressing room at the moment?
Well, it's been a really important week for us. It's been amazing, 3 wins, and we're alive in the league, which was something that maybe 1 month ago we didn't thought to arrive here with this chance. But it's amazing to arrive to another final. This is my second final in the FA Cup, and I hope we can win it.
Yeah, of course, the final last year didn't go your way. Does that give you added impetus, added desire to go one better in May?
Obviously, it's a dream to win trophies. I've had the chance to win 3 trophies in my life, but this one would be amazing to win here again, like against Arsenal. So I really hope that we get the chance to win.
Huge congratulations. You're also the player of the match, so well played today.
Thank you.
Nico Gonzalez named man of the match for his performance, probably for his goal as much as anything, Kit. But we talked in the build-up, didn't we, about if Rodri isn't available, how will City do without him? Nico Gonzalez is a huge part of that, and he was good today.
Yeah, he was. He played very well. Like I say, the first half, the overall dynamic of the team didn't look quite right. He had a steady away, decent game, but probably more so in front of him, it didn't look quite right and wasn't fluid and wasn't running. The tempo of the play, and it was just so congested. It's too congested in the central areas, and people were taking other people's space, and there was no room to do anything. And unlike the second half, like I say, the second half he receives the ball centrally, Nico Gonzalez, for his goal, and he's got loads of time. And the first half, they never had any time, because every time someone got the ball in the central area, the Southampton player was right on them because it was such a busy area of the field. But second half, with the extra width created, it stretched Southampton, then left more space centrally, and he had a good game. He was good today.
Southampton